Julien Robert of Evolve. Please put your hands together. I can't clap myself. I can't put the... Wonderful that you're here.
Hi.
Please take it away. Evolve your chain.
All right. Thanks for having me. So indeed, I'm going to explain you how to evolve your chain. You'll see a bit soon enough what I mean. But first and foremost, who I am. I'm Julien Robert. I'm a software engineer at Binary Builders. At Binary Builders, we are currently maintaining Evolve, which was called Rocket before. We took it over from Celestia at the beginning of the year. And prior to that, we were the maintainer of the SDK. So first, I'm going to go back to a few things, explain things that you probably already know, but so that everyone has the same basics. So let's go back to consensus mechanism, just the three biggest one. We obviously have proof of work, which is computers solving hard puzzles, like miners making blocks. So that's slow finalities. We know it because of Bitcoin, Litecoin, etc. Then there is proof of stake, which is validator processing block, depending on how much token to stake. There is instant finality thanks to some BFT consensus. Not all proof of stake have instant finality, but we know it because of most of Cosmos chain that use Tendermint, and Ethereum, Solana, etc. And then we have proof of authority, which is basically a permission set of validator that they pick by the chain developer that will just make blocks. And it is not, it's not permissionless, so you cannot easily enter or leave it. As well, instant finality, if you use a BFT consensus, Noble, for instance, is a chain that uses POA, VeChain, or some other enterprise blockchain. So each of them are kind of their drawbacks. As we know, POV is like security by electricity, right? So it has high consumption, energy consumption and cost. It has as well as no finality, as it takes some time to solve those puzzles. Proof of stake, you need to actually find your validator set. You have coordination to manage that validator set. In Cosmos, often we have 100 validators that you need to coordinate, upgrade with, etc. And you actually need as well to pay them, right? And you do that usually via inflation. And for proof of authority, when you are bootstrapping, you need to find the right partner, right? The right validator that are willing to contribute with you. You probably need to reward them somehow if they accept to validate your chain for free. But there is something actually a tiny bit better, which is the Sigo sequencer. Earlier, in the previous panel, they mentioned indeed about it, which is actually what it is. It is actually one node that is processing the block. So you, as a chain developer, you basically you can manage your own infra, you're the one processing the block. And this is actually a great alternative to POS or POA because you have full control of everything. You have less coordination burden because you don't have to find the validator set. To reward the validator set, you need to have some coordination, obviously, as it's still a blockchain. There's full nodes that you have to integrate and have running somewhere, but it is usually better. And it is as well censorship resistant, right? You still want a blockchain, you still want to make sure that people don't have to fully trust a single sequencer. So we have a system that's called forced inclusion. You're directly able to post transaction to the DA layer to make sure that transactions are forced included. And you directly inherit all the security from the DA availability layer. So in the case of Evolve, it is Celestia, which is a high market cap chain. So from day one, you immediately inherit all of this without having to inflate your token to infinity to have that. So I just mentioned security, and security has a cost. And you most likely, as a Cosmos chain, overpaying for security right now. If we check, for instance, the two biggest chains, for instance, how security is managed. Basically, you have inflation, and inflation basically pays for security. So we take the Cosmos hub that has 10% inflation, and a total supply of 475 million atoms, which means with 10% inflation, it costs approximately at current price 141 million per year just for security for the Cosmos hub. So 100 million dollar per year are coming, getting maybe dumped, maybe getting sold. So because validators need to pay for their cost, they need to pay for the hardware, they need to pay for the people. And same for Osmosis, for instance. Same thing, small market cap, and they probably pay approximately, because of inflation, $5 million per year. So this is crazy amounts, right? Just for securing your chain. So it's not like the most used chain either, right? It is Cosmos has this cap flow, 6 seconds per blocks. 1 million transactions last month. At the peak, it was 7 million transactions, which is, everyone talk about TPS, but it's not that the block is not even full. Same for Osmosis, for instance, 5 million transactions last month, pretty fast chain, pretty nice. But yeah, it's not like the most active. So you can say they will migrate to a single sequencer. You can actually have higher capital efficiency because you actually don't even need to inflate the token. You can keep your token, but because you have only a single sequencer, you don't need to inflate it to pay all the validator. You could even have smarter tokenomics and use the fees that the chain is using to basically reward yourself, reward the developer, reward the people, the chain itself, because you could use, for instance, USDC as a fee. As much as your chain is used, you basically, like Base is doing, rack up the TX fees and basically use that. And you don't even need your own token, obviously. So the cool thing as well is you only, thanks to Evolve, you actually only pay by the price of security kind of scales up by how much your chain is being used. So you pay by if you have many transactions, it will be more expensive, and you only have as well the other costs that are not factored. So it is as well cheaper than proof of stake. So what do I mean by this? If you look, I took a snapshot yesterday of the heartbeat in Minscan. If you look, most of the chain is just like empty blocks all the time. So it's kind of sad to have to inflate your token every block, while actually you could like be way better capital efficient if you will pay for actual, if the price will scale up by the activity of your chain, right? So a quick example, using Evolve. We have an EVM chain that runs with Evolve as a consensus node. So EVM chain with Reth, 26 million transactions per month. That costs approximately for security to post the data to the DA layer, Celestia, 14,000 here. At current prices, that is approximately $15,000 per year. So that's a big difference compared to the amount that we've seen earlier. While you still maintain like security, like if Osmosis, for instance, or any other chain will do that, they will still have 800 million market cap security while paying only $15,000 for it. You can actually calculate that for your own chain on this website, and to see what it would mean if you will migrate to Evolve and that. But I mentioned Evolve, etc., but I didn't even explain what it is, right? So I'm going to show you what is Evolve and how you can use it and what's relevant for you. So Evolve is a stack to build a modular and sovereign app chain. So it allows you basically to keep full control of your execution. You can use the execution clients that you know and love, so the EVM or the Cosmos SDK, so it's still compatible. And we allow you to as well support more execution clients. Say you want to build a chain that uses the MoveVM or whatever, you're able to still connect it to Evolve and use the single sequencer that Evolve have. You have as well a low-cost launch, as I briefly mentioned, which means that as you scale, as the security cost scales by how much transaction you have at the beginning when you're bootstrapping or when you're trying to find PMF, you have very low cost, and as I've said, you don't have to inflate to infinity. And as well, from day one, you have shared security because you inherit the security of the DA layer. By the way, if you get interested if I've managed to convince you during the call, here there is a small QR code below. You're able to join the Telegram group where we're happy to help you migrate and support you while you're doing so. As well, it is already production ready. We've got audited. We have a few chains that actually will be launching using Evolve very soon. And we made it so that it is a drop-in replacement of Comet BFT. So we made the UX nice enough that you just have, if you're a Cosmos SDK chain today, or if you're planning to create a Cosmos SDK chain that use normally Comet BFT, you only have like one line change to do to use Evolve and to benefits for all of that. So you're able, I'll show you in a bit how it is. And it doesn't only work with Comet BFT, it works as well with with EVM Cosmos clients. So we think you can take Reth and just don't use the Cosmos stack and just use Reth and use Evolve to settle directly on Celestia, which is instantly cheaper than settling, for instance, on Ethereum. So get to know the EV stack. That is basically Evolve is a set of different components that we modular, that we build to make this happen. So we have the EV node, which is a consensus layer. This is basically what's swapped in the Cosmos world commit BFT. That's a sequencer implementation. We implemented like the single sequencer, as you mentioned. There is a base sequencer with forced inclusion already that is being implemented, and we're extending the different sequencers. As I mentioned, it's extendable because you have an execution interface that communicates basically makes EV node communicate with the execution client, and it handles all the posting to Celestia. So you just have to have an account that has enough fund to post the data and the blobs to Celestia, and it will do it for you. In Evolve, we don't call the node a validator, just for FYI, we just call it a sequencer, and you still have obviously the full nodes. Next to that, as it's only the consensus, you still always have the execution part. So we have EVM compatibility with REST, so the REST Ethereum execution client that is out of the box working, and we have as well a compatibility with the Cosmos SDK. So we've got the EV node that basically implement EVABCI that basically implement the EV node execution interface, and we have ABCI component as well implement the ABCI interface, because the Cosmos SDK expect the ABCI from Cosmos BFT to be implemented, the ABCI interface, and so that already makes sure that it is already working. And say you don't use REST or you don't use ABCI, you have some custom implementation in other language. We define some gRPC services that you can use using the execution interface to basically interact with Evolve directly, easily. So how does it look like, this execution interface? It's actually 4 simple methods. So you have the init chain, where you init the genesis of your chain and the default parameters. Get EX, we don't have like a double mempool like currently Comet BFT has. We just, Evernote gets the transaction directly from the execution client. The SDK has its own app mempool. REST has its own mempool, so we get the transaction there, we obviously execute them, and then the data is actually finalized as soon as it reaches the DA layer. So we have a small set final that Evolve is calling when it's posting the data to the DA layer. Small architecture, just for Cosmos people. This is the normal Cosmos SDK as a state machine, and then you have Comet BFT usually that is part of the blockchain node that handles the consensus and the networking. EV node handles the networking, obviously, consensus, and then we have ABCI to make it talk. That's it. That's like very simple. To show you how simple it is, you can run in minutes an EVM chain. So if you check first, and you run this EV toolbox script, it basically spins up EV node, it spins up REST, a Celestia node, and you basically already have your EVM app chain ready to post data on Celestia and ready to launch, actually. And if you do that with the Cosmos SDK, we made sure that you have so little to change in your start.go. For those that know, when you wire your application, you have this one line change here, the start command handler, that we made sure that your start command now start Evolve instead of starting Comet BFT, and you're good to go. So to summarize, you can launch and migrate your Cosmos SDK chain in a few lines. You can launch an EVM chain in minutes, and you still keep it full control. It's still, we call them network. It's still an app chain that you can modify as you want. You get from day one high security and sustainable tokenomics, because you don't have to inflate your token. You can think of better tokenomics by using transaction fees, etc. So feel free to join us here at Binary. We're happy to help you integrate, and thank you.